In last week's episode, I showed you my film scanning setup, and now we are converting those scans into real images. From negatives to positives in Lightroom with the plugin called Negative Lab Pro. Let's get behind the computer and check out my workflow. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk It Over. So yeah, this is my desk setup where I got my computer, my monitors, and this is where I edit my videos but also convert my negatives. As you can see, I've opened Lightroom and I got a full roll of 35mm film right here that we are going to convert together to see what my process is, but also a little bit about how Negative Lab Pro works. So as you guys can see, I've got a full roll of 35mm film right here. It doesn't really matter if you scan 120 or 35, it's really the same process. Yeah, let's go through it together, how I do it and what my workflow is. But also for those who already know the software, there are a couple of things that have been updated or upgraded and maybe even some new things. So let's check it out together. The first thing that I always do, and you should too, is to pick your white balance. You can grab this thing right here and then you go to the border of the film and click. You only have to do this for color film. For black and white it doesn't matter, but for color film it does. So now you have picked your white balance, and I also crop my image now where I don't see the border anymore. Something like this. And then we are going to select all the images, synchronize, and only select white balance and cropping. That will make sure that all the images have the same white balance, and it makes it easier to just go through them and make sure that the cropping is done all right. And I do this for all images, but most of the time they are already pretty much in the frame. And after making sure that everything is cropped all right, you're going to select all the images and rotate them in the right order, just like this. So let's get back to the first image again, and we are going to select everything and press Ctrl N to open up Negative Lab Pro. Make sure that you have this hotkey installed if you're on Windows. I think on Mac it will be automatically, I don't know, I can't remember anymore, but everything, when you download Negative Lab Pro, everything will be made clear in a guide, so don't worry about that. As you can see, these were my last settings. Make sure that the type is negative if you are DSLR scanning. The source is a digital camera, and I always, for color film, I always use Noritsu. And the pre-saturation I keep on low, a border buffer at 5%. And nowadays I always check the box for roll analysis, which makes things definitely a lot easier for matching all the images from the same roll. There's a lot of technical stuff behind it, and I'm not going to bother you with it. If you want to know, definitely go check out Negative Lab Pro. Their website will explain everything, but in short, it will make all images from this roll match better and have less color shifts or weird things happen to them. I really was skeptic about this at first, but after using it on so many rolls, yeah, it's working perfectly. Well, not perfectly, but it works fine, and it makes things a lot easier and less time consuming. So roll analysis checked, and now we are going to convert 38 negatives. So there we are. All the negatives are converted into positives, and they all have my preset on them. In Negative Lab Pro version 3, you can add your presets or make your own presets, and you can make sure that after each conversion you can add the preset automatically, which is amazing. My preset is Portra 800 neutral low high, which means definitely nothing, but I thought it would look nice. This is just what I think is perfect for Portra 800. So this preset, because of the low highs, has a little bit of a lab look, not as digital maybe, but yeah, nothing really special about it. And I've got some presets for Portra 400 too, a neutral, a sunny day, a Canon point and shoot one. They don't change a lot, but it's nice to have. And of course I've also have one for black and white, which is really nice. But Portra 800 neutral low high is the one that I go for almost all the time. And as you can see, I just do some minor things. Contrast at 5, the lights at 0, darks a little bit darker, because otherwise I think images will look washed out pretty quickly. The whites a little bit down and the blacks a little bit down. But that's really it. I leave the sharpen as set, and the white balance I always put at auto neutral. And I think for 90% it will be pretty good, and otherwise I can change it a little bit. So yeah, this is fine. So this is where I start off. In this particular image, I think we need a little bit more highlights and a little less dark shadows. Something like this, because I think in this image I did underexpose a little bit, so that's why the darker parts in this image maybe look a little bit muddy. It's definitely not the best photo, but keep in mind this is just one full roll of images, so not every photo will be a prize-winning photo, so keep that in mind. I think the skin tones look a little bit off, but the overall image is alright. So the skin tones I will do in Lightroom after the conversion, but more on that later. First we do I call it the base conversion edit in Negative Lab Pro, and after that we tweak it a little bit in Lightroom. So yeah, this one is okay. Next one, as you can see here, it's a lot flatter, so I want to bring the darker parts down. Maybe add a little bit of light, maybe not. And we can crush the blacks a little bit more, just to make it pop. And I think the white balance is okay. Next one, I really like this shot, but as you can see, we need a little bit more lights. The darker parts could be a little bit lower, something like this. Here we need to tone down the lights a lot too, because of the sky, otherwise the sky is blown out. And I do like my image a little bit darker in the foreground. And here the white balance is a bit off, so I need to compensate for that with the tint and the temperature. Something like this. And here as you can see in this shot, I think I overexposed a little bit. That's why there's a little bit of color shift in the sky. And here I muted more for the sky. So I think this image is more balanced in the beginning. But as you can see, there will always be detail in the highlights when you overexpose a lot, and now there's a lot of detail in the shadow parts too. And on the next image I really muted for the sky and for the brighter part of the image, and you can see that the shadows really fall apart in the lower part of the image. So yeah, that's why I tend to overexpose a little bit more than underexpose, because you can always get more information out of the highlights afterwards. So yeah, but this looks pretty good to me already. So as you can see, I just do some minor adjustments. And if I think, okay, this image isn't worth it at all, I just do it very quickly. And I do like this image, so on this image I will take a little bit more time to tweak things. But 8 out of 10 times I think Negative Lab Pro really does a good job in making sure the image is well balanced. Well, this is a great shot. And as you can see also in this image, I overexposed it by quite a bit to make sure that there's enough detail in the shadows, and I can always crush the blacks or tone down the shadows in post or when scanning. But the other way around is way more difficult, so that's good practice to have. And in an image like this, well, it's not a really good photo, but in an image like this or in a scene like this, I just like to tone down the darks a lot. But I don't know what I was thinking when taking these photos. This is a bit nicer already because it has a little bit of a vibe to it, but yeah. That's also not the intention of this video. But as you can see, I'm really going through it pretty fast, I think. And that's mostly because of the well-balanced starting point. And I like to adjust each image on its own to make sure that everything is alright. And I also check my histogram if nothing is really clipping, or most likely the highlights aren't clipping. In this image, of course, it is not. And as we can see, we have two almost identical images, so we can also copy here. So below your settings, your preset really, you can copy all the settings from this image and paste it. Well, I think I did close up my aperture a little bit, or maybe upped my shutter speed, so it's not identical, but still you can easily copy your settings from the previous image. And as you can see, even with these weird ass lights coming from all these different light sources, and now it's totally purple, Negative Lab Pro really handles it well. In the past, and I'm talking about maybe 6 years ago, when you scan the negative with very weird ass colors like magenta or red tones, or maybe fully blasted blue tones, Negative Lab Pro really had some problems with it. But as you can see, this was exactly how it was when I was standing there. And you can see that by looking at the sky. The sky has the right tones in it. Otherwise, a sky like this would also have a very intense color shift, which is not happening right now, which is nice. Love how these colors turned out. Maybe a little bit more warmth in it, but yeah, really do love these colors. And I also think that the sky really looks beautiful in this image, definitely when you combine it with these kind of scenes and lights. And I think I did try another exposure setting on the next one. So this one is really cool too. It's hard to decide. I think this one has more of a, yeah, it just has a different feeling than the previous one. This one is really nicely balanced maybe. You can see a lot more happening in the foreground, and this one really takes your focus to all of the bright lights, and I think the sky really looks dramatic too. So yeah, personal taste. I don't know yet which one I like more. But this is just a couple of seconds between And you can see that your exposure really matters when shooting film. And this is probably a couple of stops overexposed if you meter all of these lights here. And this is probably metered right for these lights, but that will make sure that your surroundings are pretty much left in the dark. And on the next frame, like this is again just a minute or a couple of minutes after the previous image, I metered for all of the lights, and in a scene like this I think that works perfect, because that's what you want to see, and maybe not all of the noise beside it. Like these people, they need to be in the frame and they need to be viewed, so to speak, but the main focus is the fair or the ride or the lights. So let's up the lights a little bit, or like make it a little bit darker, but the white balance seems alright to me. Same on this one. And this is probably my favorite image from this roll. I do love these colors. So yeah, I'm not going to do a lot to this image. It is fine as it is. Not going to bother a lot with these images because it might have looked okay when I was there, but definitely not interesting for a photo. This one maybe. And also, what beats a neon sign on film? And that's the full roll. So after that, after this basic conversion and doing all these minor adjustments to each image, we apply and we have all the images converted. So after that, I'm going to select all of the images, export them as a TIFF file with a Adobe RGB color profile in 16-bit. So here we are going to select TIFF, Adobe RGB, 16-bit, no compression, and I'm also keeping them in the full resolution. I do this because now I have the raw scan and I also have a TIFF file, and I want to keep the raw scans as is, and now I can make the adjustments or the other adjustments to the TIFF file, and I can show you, because the problem with adjusting things in Lightroom on the raw file is that it's inverted, because it's still a negative, as you can see, and you don't want to do that, and it makes things pretty weird. So I want to keep my raw files as is, also as a little bit of a backup, and I'm going to import the files that I just created, and these files are not inverted anymore. So now we have the TIFF files, and I'm not going to edit every photo of this roll, because then this video will be a couple of, well, not a couple of hours, but it will be too long. So I'm going to edit 2 or 3 images that I really like and want to keep. Definitely something to keep in mind: don't spend too much, if you shoot a lot, don't spend too much time on every single image if you're not going to use it at all. It will make your life a little bit easier if you don't, trust me. So yeah, what I do first, before I do anything on the TIFF files, I will add a little bit of texture, add a little bit of clarity, and I will sharpen the image to 80 most of the time. And because I'm using the same setup, this is pretty much universal on all the images that I scan. And as you can see, this makes the image pop. It makes sure that the textures of the grain and of the image are on point, and this works for me every time. And I like this is Portra 800, and I like my images pretty gritty. If you shoot a low-based ISO film, this will look way different, of course. Even on Portra 400, this will look a lot different. But because this is Portra 800, it is a gritty film. So yeah, I put these values at 10 all the time and detail sharpening at 80. And that's really it for all the images. So I will select all of it, synchronize, and only select texture, clarity, and detail. So that's applied to all images, and now we can correct a little bit more. I think this was warmer when I shot it, so let's make it that way. Something like this is way more natural to me. Maybe up the highs a little bit shadows. And that's pretty much it that I want to do to this image. As you can see, not too much, just subtle. The other thing you can see in this image is that there's a lot of dust, which is painful, but I don't want to use this image. So what I do then is go into 50% and use these tools right here. I will always try to first use this removal tool for these dust specks, and I will do that on all the images that I want to use. And if I'm printing this image, then I will zoom in to 100% and really go deep on all the dust. But if it's just for YouTube video, if it's for a YouTube video or for Instagram, then I will definitely not use 100%. So yeah, I'm not going to do the full image because you don't want to see me do this for 15 minutes. So when you have an image like this and a part of the image like this where nothing really much is happening, this tool can still work. But as you can see here, it goes through these cards, and it will make it a lot harder to delete this really long hair. And as you can see, it doesn't work. So what we do then is we are going to use this new tool in Lightroom with generative fill, and we are going to do the same thing really. So I've selected the whole hair from left to right, and it goes through a couple of things that are really hard to remove with the other tool. And with the AI removal tool, it makes life a lot easier. So I've selected it, and now I'm going to click delete. It does take a lot longer, so that's why I'm not using it on every little dust speck. Dusk? Why do I say dusk all the time? Dust. So yeah, as you can see, that is just perfect. But I only use it on parts like these because the other dust specks are way quicker to remove with just a normal removal tool. But keep in mind, this is very nice also with skins and faces. It will almost all of the time do the right job. So let's pick another image that I think is really nice and see what we can do there. This image, for example, I think I like the image better if she's centered. A little bit more like this. I think it is a little bit too cold. This looks better. And again, check for dust here still, or here again, a little weird drying mark. And yeah, the normal tool didn't do the job correctly. So I'm going to select this, and then you can use generative fill also like this, and then it will automatically do the job. And now we can continue with the normal tool again, which is a pretty nice shortcut too. Just go through the image pretty fast and remove everything that I can see within a couple of seconds. If I need to search for it, it's not worth it. And it's definitely not worth it for this video. So yeah, this image is done. And for these images, I think the colors already look perfectly fine. So I'm just going to remove things like this. And this image looks perfect already. Just some couple of dust specks. So yeah, what can I say? That's really it. I'm not doing a lot in Lightroom afterwards, just maybe adjust it a little bit, but no drastic measures. Sometimes I like to see how a white background looks too, because I like to print my work, and when printing I use a white mask on it. So that's how I preview that. But normally when I edit it, I like to use a darker background because then you can see the darker parts of the image a little bit better. So yeah, that's pretty much it when I'm using Negative Lab Pro and Lightroom together. Not really a lot, but this has been working for me for many years, and I like how my images come out of it. And that's also maybe why we shoot film, because we like how things look pretty much when you shoot it. So Negative Lab Pro really does the job for me. It makes sure that I don't have to do a lot of things in post-production or in editing at all. So yeah, times have changed, because when I started out scanning my own film, it took me a lot of time in Lightroom to get things right. And nowadays, I just spend a couple of minutes on a photo, if not even faster. So that is my workflow in Lightroom with Negative Lab Pro, and I hope this episode was helpful and gave you some insights in how I do it. If so, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And when scanning your negatives, you can do a lot more to your own liking, and also the plugin has more to offer, but I like to keep it simple. For me, it's about taking the images, and I try to spend less time behind the computer. If you are interested in my scanning setup and you haven't seen the previous episode already, I'll link it down in the description. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace.